If some dude says that his mom is his best friend and he talks to her 3 to 4 times a day and he calls her like an angel and all this stuff, even if he's this hot, and famous and rich and all that stuff, do not date that man. I don't know this guy. I don't know this guy. Don't care, right? But this, I saw this interview, this like brief interview with Jacob for the Wall Street Journal. He says that his mother is his best friend in the world. Basically, though, the interviewer was like, who's your favorite person? Oh, my mom, my best friend in the world. I talk to her, I would say 3 or 4 times a day. Now, I mean, is this even when you're shooting? Because that's insane. Now, of course, when I worked in the film industry, I was in the crew. Those are long days on set. And I know that he's probably in his trailer some. He's not working the whole time. They have breaks. But even when you're filming, you calling her 3 to 4 times a day? Bro, for what? What are y'all talking about? Any man who calls his mom a saint, I'm just saying, a saint and my best friend in the world. But the saint part is just as troubling. Because if you are 28 years old and you think you would be completely at sea, completely lost, if you didn't talk to your mom 3 to 4 times a day, or if she wasn't a major part of your everyday life at 28, that woman has kind of failed you on some level. The whole point, like, she's gonna die one day, right? Probably before you. That's kind of how it goes. And moms do this a lot, okay? This is what I'm gonna let you keep looking at his face. This is like, I'm not saying she's a toxic boy mom, but she has toxic boy mom traits, because a lot of women, I've seen this, I'm sure you've seen this, a lot of women will they don't raise their girls this way usually, unless maybe it's like the last kid and whatever. But usually it's a boy. They'll raise that boy to somehow need her forever. Even if she sets him up to be super whatever, emotionally need her. Something. Because a lot of moms are taught, because of patriarchy and our conditioning, that being a mom is the most important thing in the world. And that, you know, and a lot of moms don't know what to do when the kids are gone, because they've sacrificed everything. A lot of moms who make being a mom their whole identity, which I understand that all these forces keep trying to make you make that your whole identity. But if a man especially, if a boy grows up watching mom make everything about him, and especially when he has 3 older sisters, he's the youngest child and he's a boy, and his mom is his best friend. I wonder if his sisters would say that. I kind of doubt it. Do you think his sisters, all 3 of them, would, if they said that best friend, I would bet money that none of them would say that mom is their best friend, because women are taught to have relationships outside of our family. But this is a disservice that a lot of moms do, is they want these men attached to them, especially because that's how, especially white women, well, that's how we will be able to have access to power other than through the husband or their dad or our own fathers, is through the son. King baby. So if the whole point is so they don't need you. It doesn't mean that you don't continue to parent. I mean, but the whole point is if you set them up so they would be lost at sea without you, even when they're, especially when they're 28. This isn't like an 18-year-old. This isn't somebody who's newly adult. He's been, brain is developed. He has tons of money, but why is she his best friend? But it's the saint part too. Completely at sea without her. So then I went and looked on some other websites to see if there's any other interviews, because surely this can't be true. Surely this was cut the wrong way. He has said this more than once. She's an angel. She's the greatest person I've ever met. And now in a world where we're used to incels and all these men and boys who resent the hell out of their mom, blame their mom for everything, or, what's growing matricide or whatever, where they're just literally unaliving their mothers. We're used to men just being so disrespectful to women now because of the internet and the radicalization, and also, whatever. It's not nothing new. And so, it's like, oh, well, if he loves and respects, it doesn't mean he can't be close to his mom. That's like, I actually think it's good for if he's close to his parents, but not too close, right? But she's an angel. Do you know who else called a woman, the most important woman in his life, an angel? Keith Urban. Like, do not let these men worship you. I know we talk about it like, oh, he should worship you. You're like this idea of they should be obsessed with you. I don't want a man obsessed with me. I want a man who's like, damn, super impressed, wants to make me happy, all that stuff, but not obsessed and not putting me on a pedestal, because do you know how easy it is to whack you off that pedestal when you're not perfect? And usually, and especially insecure men who, if they date you and they're like, oh, you're an angel, and they do not have super good, like, confidence, not cockiness, real confidence, they will punish you. Look what just happened to Nicole. He emphasized her sole purpose in life, self-appointed, is being a mother. Great. Now that the kids are grown, what's she gonna do? Well, guess what? She's already set it up, so he still needs her at 28. I hate how much being married to men and then having children with men hijacks women's lives. There's so many women who could be amazing artists. They could be painters, they could be writers, they could be world travelers, they could be race car drivers. I don't know. There's so many things that women don't even think about doing because they have to self-abandon and make everything about the identity of whatever the forces at home are doing to them. If the man is completely absent, or even if he's not, but if she doesn't know any other way of living, then yeah, it's easy to get into her whole purpose in life is to be a mom. Great. What happens if all the kids died? Like, it is not healthy to put that much pressure on your kid to make you their purpose. The opposite is obviously really bad, is neglect and funk you and all that stuff. But this is gross. And yet this is so common and it's so normalized. Now, I grew up in the South. White Southern men are like this. Well, not all of them. Some of them fucking hate their mom. And you know, have their moms are just like, but they also are, some of them are scared of their moms or whatever. But this whole mama's boy, oh my God, no, thank you. No. Because guess who's going to be enemy number one when he starts dating? You will never compete with mama. She's the queen bee, and you're going to get your ass kicked trying to get up to her level. And only maybe when she's dead will you finally have queen bee status. And then you end up bullying all the other, you're like, it's just not good. Now, it sounds like you had, I don't know, it sounds like you had an interesting, this is not a deep dive. But, you know, his dad, you know, he's super impressed by his dad and was inspirational and he's a legend, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, he has a very high opinion of his parents, which is great, rather than him hate him, whatever. But there's something about the way he's talking about his mom that I find very alarming, but also not that uncommon. My whole dream, and when they asked if, you know, he's going to have kids, you know, he very much so wants to grow a family when the time is right. My whole dream is to facilitate a childhood like that, like the one I had. Good luck with that in this world. Yeah, you could try to see, like, without the internet raising them, the world has changed. So, like, I get it, but it would just make me the happiest person in the world. And again, everybody loves to see a man who respects his parents, loves his parents. Like, that's a big green flag. But then there's the toxic boy mom element. Oh, look at you, Mose. Hello. You woke up. Never mind. Done. Now, his mom was a stay-at-home mom, which doesn't surprise me. Nothing wrong with that. They have a strong bond. He has a strong bond with his mom, who would spend as much quality time as possible with him. That sounds good. But he recalled in GQ that she volunteered to work at his school's lunchroom so she could hang out with him while he was eating the lunch she packed for him. Don't hang out with your fellow students. Eat with mommy! Like, this is weird. He also said his mom is the most present, loving, just beautiful, angelic human being on the planet. He has 3 sisters who are relatively much older. Not only is he the baby, he's like the baby. In this GQ interview, he says, I had 3 sisters. Growing up as the baby, I was definitely spoiled. I'm still spoiled. I've never not been spoiled. And I plan to be spoiled for the rest of my life. Now, he could be just kidding here. But men's jokes are never jokes. That's really all I know about him. I don't really care much about him. I don't know him. I don't dislike him. Terrifying character in Euphoria. I'm just using this example as like would anything, any of the Reddit stuff or any of the columns to just show what I would consider to be an enormous red flag. A man obsessed with his mom and a man who needs his mom. Is he Italian or what? Things you can do when you don't have kids as a woman at 39. Move to Spain without ever even visiting the town. Go and see lots of crosses everywhere, like there's a lot of Christian stuff. And weird graveyards, I don't understand this. The old stuff, new stuff, beautiful stuff with no kids. Explore lots of cows. And of course, lots of cow shit. This is Galicia, where I moved and I didn't know much about it, but it's pretty Celtic-like and it rains all the time. This is what you can do when you don't have a husband or kids. Right before you turn 40 and you just go, fuck it, I'm going. This also is some stuff I took photos of, like hallways in Queen, what's her butt, and a library. I was teaching English to kids, but you know what? Why not? There's old stuff like chains and old men everywhere in this town. And this is the view from my place, like it's almost like a movie. This was on a road trip and this was in the town. Yes, a Christmas tree of legs. This was my favorite photo I took there in Spain, and also tried pole dancing and all kinds of stuff because I could. You can do other things and be a mom. But let me know which story you want me to go into over there. These pictures, because they're pretty freaking random.